Coach, you were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bobble.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we just be keeping the funk alive. So what
Aloha and hello out there, everybody. What's going on? This is Miho from the Too Close to Call cast, joined again by my friend, Mr. Ryan Presley. Press,
hey.
What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, man?
Did you like that intro?
I did. That was great.
That was it, man. I saw you laugh. You're lucky we don't have the camera out yet. But
I forget every time. I forget.
we also, a little special edition here, gave your fiance a microphone, and Miss Catherine Rogers will be giving some input every now and then. I think I'm kind of liking the dual angle here. We may get some good convo out of this.
Aloha.
Yeah, hey, she
Although-
gets it. All right, so we left off our first conversation. As we mentioned, this is conversation 2 of 3 that we had arranged, discussing more of your minor league career and your time going all over America on all different levels. Right off the bat, or you were drafted in 2007. I saw you didn't play, but you had mentioned ACL surgery in the previous pod. I'm assuming there was a correlation there as to why you weren't able to get, right on the field, because you said between the phone call and when you were there was like 48 hours. So I was assuming you were playing within like 72.
Yeah, no. I ended up having ACL surgery, and my rehab didn't go well. The doctor didn't do a very good job the first time, and when Boston drafted me, they got me in their hands, and they were like, you can't straighten your knee.
Because surgery was done by the high school, local. Okay.
Yeah,
you
it
weren't.
was done in the Dallas area. And,
Right.
And when I got to spring, or after I signed, and I'm running around the field and everything, and then the pitching coach at the time looks at me and goes, "You look like you're limping." I go, "Well, I can't really straighten my leg out." He goes, "Go see the trainer now." I'm like, I walked in there. I go, "Yeah, this is about as far as I can straighten my leg out," And sure enough, they sent me, I think the next day I was up in Boston getting an MRI, and
they let their people take care of it.
Yeah, and then the day after that, I got surgery, and
You've never had a problem since.
never had a problem since.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
So
they took good care of me.
yeah, fool me once, right?
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
so no, that sucks, man. So it cost you that first summer there. Were you still in Fort Myers, like rehabbing, or were you kind of back home? And
So I stayed down there longer than everybody else because
Okay.
obviously I had a rehab, and they had to release me to where I was able to go into the off season and still do my own lifting program, which it cut into my off season. I wanted to go hang out with my friends, and I think I stayed in Fort Myers until the end of October, and when the season was
Wow.
over, I was able to go home. But it was it was frustrating, man.
Sure.
Fort Myers was not a fun town for me when I was 18, 19 years old.
Right out of high school?
Yeah, because
not a lot of clubs, 18 to enter, 21 to drink. You weren't going to
no, there wasn't a whole lot of
college night.
and early mornings. It didn't really.
Yeah.
It kind of wears on you a little bit. So.
Did they work you out early, like 5:30, 6 o'clock? Was it?
Dude, we were at the field at 6.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you live in a dorm close to? Because you went back there for 2008. That's where you started. Then.
We had a team hotel.
Oh.
And I'm not going to say the hotel's name. But
5-star.
So exactly. Now they give you like a 5-star rating.
Sure.
This one had a half a star rating.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, how are we staying here right now? Like, this is
Yeah.
unbelievable, So it was brutal, and
Motivation.
it meant to be miserable.
The psychology aspect of it, right?
It,
Well, that's how they weed some of those guys out, I guess, early on. It's kind of like the first couple days of football practice, where run you hard and make your life miserable.
Get you mentally tough,
Okay.
But I spent my my rehab process out there with Will Latimer. I think he had a shoulder scope or elbow scope or something like that.
Okay.
And, he was a great roommate to have around, so he made things pleasant. And
I got you. Very cool. So we head to 2008, where you end up with a so-so year based on the stat line looking back on it now, but you were in the rotation, which as a guy coming off a knee injury, entering, low A ball, rookie ball, it's got to be a good feeling. They're throwing you into the rotation there. So what was that adjustment like, going from, high school hitters who anything above 90 was kind of good enough to really get maybe 3/4 of the people out just showing up, and now you're going to kids who have either come from, internationally or been drafted out of high school like yourself and are swinging wood? And was it a big jump in competition that you noticed? Or
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Was there the first adjustment period?
The first kid that I saw walking up to the field in the GCL was Armando Zerpa, and he was a left-handed pitcher from Venezuela, and he was sitting at 98 miles an hour with run. And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? These guys, this kid's throwing 98 from the left-hand side. How is he not? Why is he here?
Why didn't he start a little higher than this?
Yeah, why is this guy here right now? So, and then pitching in games, these kids, from Latin America, man,
what was your ratio there?
It was about half and half.
Okay.
It was about half and half, but
communicating with those guys, though,
it was difficult because these kids are 16, 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
They're
international slot money guys.
Yeah, and if you were 16 years old, would you know how to speak a second language fluently?
Dude, I'm 30 and don't know how to speak a second language.
Okay. So, yeah, and it's very.
I'm with you.
And I feel bad, man. It's difficult for them. they
translators.
Yeah, there's translators.
Okay.
Usually you have some guys around the clubhouse who can translate for you, and
yeah, okay,
and usually pick up on some words, and you're able to have a simple conversation with them. But man, they teach you so much, dude. Did
they teach you how to cuss in Spanish and
instantly?
Do you still remember those now? And
oh yeah.
I was gonna say I learned one or two from a guy who played. I think it was at UTSA.
Oh yeah,
who was from Puerto Rico. He was my roommate on the road down in Texas, and I have a potty mouth or a little bit of a foul mouth. Everybody who's listens to the podcast knows that. So we're not breaking news to anybody here. But he gave me a few of them in Spanish because back at college, my coach was not big on the foul language. So you had to muzzle it somehow, whether it was a clap or in your glove. And he was like, dude, just say these words. He's not going to know what they mean. And I was like, oh, I love you so much. So I'm out there screaming Spanish on the mound, and all these white preppy boys are probably looking at me like, this dude's out of his mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you definitely pick up on some of this stuff, and
that's the fun stuff with dealing with that, man. So you finished up 2008 in the GCL. You went, let's see here, right up to short season A ball. Finally shipped your ass up north to, what is it, Lowell?
Lowell, Massachusetts.
What did I say before? Lowell?
Lowell.
Yeah, okay. Lowell, Massachusetts. Either way, dumb town. Lowell, Massachusetts. Is it bad? Have you been there?
She's got it.
Well, been there, but all the people of Lowell are
I'm
not
sorry
like
to all
that
my fans in Lowell, Massachusetts. I apologize.
Well, but she's got a great Boston accent. So
no, I don't.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, you do, Kit. Come on, Kit.
There you go. Oh, we're going to Fenway.
There it is. I like that one last month. But short season A. So you're still not throwing, the full 100+ innings at this point, right?
No.
But I guess how was that conversation initially? Was it during the exit interview where they kind of say, hey, this is your next step next year? Or is it come back, we'll make sure you're not fat and out of shape, and then we'll throw you kind of where we think you go? Or, no, because that happened every offseason until you kind of, spoiler alert, you really kind of steadily climb that ladder. So I really am curious as to how that...
You got to think to it. The Red Sox at the time in 2007, they were just coming off a World Series.
Their second one.
Yeah, their second one in, 4 years?
Yeah.
It was... They had a pretty solid rotation with Beckett, Lackey, Buchholz, Lester. I mean, it was a solid rotation. So
Schilling hung him up that year.
Yeah, and as a starting pitcher in the minor leagues for the Red Sox at the time, you weren't gonna, unless you were really wowing the front office, you weren't gonna move quickly. So as a starter, and as a high school kid, I just wanted to keep my head above water until I can work my way into a situation or an opportunity that a lot of guys say that you'll get in pro ball. You'll always get an opportunity in professional baseball as long as it's how you make that opportunity count. It's whose eyes you open that day. It's how you carry yourself every single day. It's who you represent every single day. And if you're able to do that every single day, something good is going to happen to you. And when that happens, it just happened to be on that opportunity.
Now, here's a question for you. I'm listening to you say that. And as a 30-year-old, you're sounding very mature and very well-spoken. But at this time, you're 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to puke in the dugout before I got to go out for this doubleheader. Spoiler alert, I did that a couple times because I was hungover. So I shoved and threw like 4 2/3 then, so it wasn't a big deal.
Hey,
but
it works.
the teammates know which games I'm talking
There's
about.
been big leaguers that have done that. I'm
not gonna, yeah, there you go, right? So it happens all the way up. But in that moment, as a 19-year-old who's out on their own for the first time, you have a little bit of money, obviously, because you got drafted in a decent round and you signed right away. So how do you prioritize baseball? I guess this may get back to a question I wanted to ask you in the first pod too, was did you get in trouble a lot as a kid? Were you more of like the guy who kind of showed up, or, you know, were you the first guy there? You know, we have to be there at 5:30. We're all there at 5:30.
Yeah,
we get it. Do you know what I mean? But like some people are there at 5:30 and some people are there at 5:30.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, as a 19-year-old, I don't know if I would have been able to do it with all that shit going on, man.
Yeah, you know, going back to, you know, before I got drafted and as a kid, man, that was my escape. You know, that was my chance to, because I was always grounded.
What was the worst thing you did in high school to get grounded?
Oh man, dude.
Maybe not breaking the law because we can't, you know,
I can't
whatever,
say
but...
that on this.
All right, so I'll go with mine, and then you can base yours off of where mine was.
Do that.
So it was the 5th or 6th grade in Texas. We're at Durham, and we're outside painting rocks like old Egyptian kind of pharaoh type things. I decided it was a good idea to see if the spray paint would work on the side of the building. Basically graffitied the school without realizing I was tagging it at the time. You know, I was a little bit ahead of my time with my tag there, you know, hashtags. But yeah, Chris and Gina did not like that call that their son had just spray painted the side of the school. Had to get the chemicals, go get it off. Like, I ended up okay, but I was in deep shit with that going on for sure.
Ryan, you snuck out of the house or something, right? Or what?
Yeah, but I didn't get caught.
Why are you making it so dramatic?
Because I'm trying to because I know I got in-school suspension twice.
Skipping
It's
class?
okay, baby.
I got one of those, skipping class.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what I did.
He acts like it's so bad he can't say it on your podcast.
I know,
like,
toilet
like
paper
he like
and
went
his
to
neighbors.
jail or got arrested. It's like he like snuck out of the house or was drinking underage or something silly. I love it.
Did you ever sneak out and get caught?
No.
Oh, okay. That's good work.
I was pretty good at it. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, I think my dad knew, but he just was like, I think he did it.
As long as the missus isn't super pissed.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys.
I think he's like, look, he didn't get arrested. He's fine. He's home.
Guys can do whatever they want.
You know? Like,
yeah. If
the
police don't escort you home, you tend to.
Yeah,
I know.
Like
that's
and my dad always told me. He always told me, he was like, I'll bail you out once. After that, never again.
That's fair. That's fair from Pops.
So
that's fair.
Luckily, I never got arrested, and he never had to bail me out. But
were you a big partier, popular kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, were you drinking?
You know what, man? I didn't really drink in high school.
Okay.
I used to go to parties all the time and stuff like that, but I was always scared of drinking and driving. I mean, I guess I would drink.
Well, that is honestly bigger in Texas because everything is so goddamn far away.
Yeah.
Like even this summer I was there, kids were.
And you know how South Lake works, and you know how Highland Village works. Dude,
I can see that.
The cops are really strict over there.
Yeah.
And they pull you over for any reason.
Okay, side note at my high school.
Yeah, Kat, what do you got for us here?
West Side?
I just want to throw this out there. West Side. I'll tell you one thing. Whenever we went to parties, we did not see any baseball players from our high school ever because our high school baseball coach was psycho and everybody knew it.
Well, so was my high school.
Like we called him Coach Jack. Like the baseball players, if we saw them out, it was like for 30 minutes. They absolutely were not drinking. They were
this
like,
kind of.
It was. Why do you laugh?
Because it's true. Did you have a Facebook?
Yeah, I did for like a short period of time.
You did in high school?
Yeah, but
because that was big.
I'm about to age myself because Facebook started when I was in college.
Oh,
so
shit.
we didn't have to do that. And Coach Jag, our baseball coach, would have not been okay with any of that.
That's what I'm saying. Early on, you took the picture and you had to go into paint the program, spray paint over the beer can, write the word like Coke with the little pencil. Have
you
like
were
multiple.
in high school during Facebook?
It was senior year, 06, 07. right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Kat. You're,
No, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for you guys. That's a lot to do with this high school.
Oh,
kid.
that's what I'm saying. These kids nowadays, I don't know how the hell they're going to do it. But
Anyway,
back
sorry.
to
I digress.
2008. You're in Lowell, Massachusetts.
2009.
2009. Back to 2009. You're up in Massachusetts. So you're up north for the first time here. How was that? Thrown in the cold. March, April?
No, it was short season A, so we didn't get up there until end of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beginning of June,
You
middle
got
of June.
lucky.
So it was sometime in June. I just remember that, but like it was nice. It was the first time I got to pitch under the lights since high school. And on top of that, it was 45 minutes from Boston. So whenever the Red Sox were out of town, everybody would just come to Lowell because that's where all your prospects were. That's where all the kids that you just drafted out of high school. And on top of that, your first rounders are out of college are going to be there.
Yeah, okay.
So when I was there, I had Alex Wilson, Brandon Workman, Drake Britton, Christian Vasquez.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Was there any analytic or sabermetric talk at this point
No.
whatsoever?
No.
Spin rate was never
Nothing.
discussed.
Nothing.
None of that ever came up.
Nope.
Did you ever have any sort of inkling that you had high spin rates, or was that a thought for you, I guess, like early on while you were continuing to develop in short season and things like that? Did you mess around with different grips to try to see if something increased over the other, or
No.
none of that stuff? Just
Dude, I just try to keep the ball in the park.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. As long as I could go 5-6 innings.
So here's another question for you. When you sign, is there a specific length of time that you're guaranteed in the minors?
No, they can release you at any time.
They can,
Yeah.
but there's typically, out of high school you get 3, 4 years. But
they evaluate you. I mean,
every year, though, at the end, they could choose to renew or not renew. And then is there a specific salary per level of the minors?
I think it was $1,200 a month, all the way up until you get put on the 40-man roster.
So you don't make more money in AAA or AA than
You do. No, so AA, I think it went up to like $2,500 a month.
Because that's
AAA, if you weren't on the 40-man roster and you were in AAA, it was $3,500. Yeah, man. If you were in GCL, low A, high A, not on the roster,
if you're not a 13th round pick who has some sort of signing bonus
you were grinding paycheck. I mean, and that's the thing too, is that like you spent in a house with like 7 other guys trying to at least, hey man, like I need to save at least some money,
Right.
half of my paycheck's going to rent. The other 3/4 of that is going to food and gas.
So 2010, you improve again. You go to Greenville, South Carolina. I've heard good things about Greenville.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Are you 21 yet at this point? You're turning 21 this year.
I just turned 21 that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the first time you can finally enjoy yourself and things like that.
Yes. It was the team, man. That team was so much fun. It was so much fun. I couldn't tell you how many guys on that squad that I was just like, I will go to battle with you any day of the week. It was that kind of team. Like we had so much fun. It was like, what are you doing after the game? All right, I'll ride with you to the field. Or I mean,
Were any of these teams good that you were on? Did you ever win a championship down there?
We made it to the championship, and then we lost to Lakewood.
Hey, go Phils!
Yeah, the Phillies. Twice, back-to-back years.
Okay.
Actually.
Wow. Because then 2011, high A ball.
Yes.
Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
No, the Salem Red Sox.
Salem Red Sox, yeah.
In Roanoke, Virginia.
Yes.
I messed that one up a couple times right in that time. I was like, of course, they're right next to Boston.
It's like 30, 45 minutes from Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And that's honestly, just looking at reading the website, looking at the statistics, was really kind of the first year that
got brought down to reality a little bit.
I was going to say that end of the year meeting may have not been as positive as some of the years past. So was there just a big jump in talent there, or?
Yeah, like that's the part where like they kind of start weeding guys out,
High A ball, man. It's good ball.
Yeah, and it just wasn't good. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I don't want to press you on it. I'm just saying. It was one of those, because then they sent you back there the next year.
Yeah, because we still didn't have film, we didn't have video, we didn't have any of that stuff.
That's wild, man.
I guess
YouTube was just starting.
I guess we had video. Don't get me wrong, we had video, but it wasn't like the quality that you think it was. It was like, I don't think it would have gone well if I would have tried to watch film anyways. I think it would have gotten the same results, maybe worse.
So they send you right back there the next year, and it looks like move you to the bullpen at some point in that year in 2012. How was that conversation? Because typically, from a fan's perspective, an outsider's perspective, that's the first conversation of the you're on your way out kind of movement there. So take me through that and take me through kind of your mentality and the difference from starter to bullpen and how that whole transition transpired, because obviously it was a hell of a decision in retrospect with what's transpired.
Yeah. I remember it was in Wilmington, Delaware, playing against the Royals organization. I was sitting out in the outfield, and the pitching coordinator came up to me. He says, you're a lot closer to the big leagues than you think you are. I didn't really understand what he meant by that and all that other kind of stuff. And they called me in the office the next day, and I thought that was it. I thought
this is still high A ball, so you're a few steps away.
Yeah.
So for somebody to have a comment like that, it's kind of eye-opening in a way.
Because I was getting my head beat in as a starter, and I think it was more of like, look, we're going to put you in the bullpen, and something might click, and you'll see how fast you can go up. And when he put me in the bullpen, I was just like, I'm just going to let it eat. I'm just going to throw it.
You don't got to save it for anything anymore, right? Were you always a 3-pitch guy at this point? Were you fastball, curve, slider?
I still kept all my pitches just because I didn't know if I was going to be a starter in Double-A if I ever made it.
What'd you throw at that point besides those 3? Did you have a changeup or a splitter? Or?
Changeup.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ditched that as soon as I got to the big leagues.
As soon as the big leagues.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha. Because I was curious where that slider cutter really established itself as the dominant pitch.
It was Mike Munoz, man.
Okay.
Over at Ape, where
Interesting.
Brainer's place, and
sure,
he taught me his slider grip, and he was like, dude, just throw this as hard as you can. Just throw it just like your fastball. And I was like, all right. He's like, don't manipulate it anyway.
You don't rotate.
Don't
or
rotate
snap
it. Nothing.
Wow.
Just throw it like a 4-seam fastball. It's just going to come out of your hand differently. Now, when it comes out of your hand differently, don't freak out. Just make it a little bit of an adjustment of whatever it's going to do. So the first pitch I threw, I think I threw it like 45 feet. I was like, God, I don't want to throw this again. He goes, just work your way up. All right. So I was like, all right, fine. So I finally threw another one. It was a little bit better. And then I threw a fastball again just to kind of get my sights kind of sighted back in. He goes, all right, now just throw it right off that again. So I was like, all right, here we go. And I mean, I want to talk about, it was just a banger of a pitch, dude. And he caught it. He goes, we're going to end on a fastball, and then you're not throwing another pitch for the rest of the night. He goes, I want you to remember what that felt like. And that's the way it just clicked for me, man. I don't know. So he taught me his slider.
It had to be an awesome feeling.
It was, dude.
Kind of walking off going, damn.
It was like I got a new toy that I can.
Sure.
I can't wait to
Do
show.
you know Mike Munoz?
I've heard the name, but I don't.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, you can't just throw names out there. You have to explain.
Yeah, that's true. We're supposed to.
Okay, well, people who don't know who Mike Munoz is, was a left-handed reliever in the big leagues, 8 to 10 years, somewhere around there, and
he was an awesome. He was your coach.
He was my pitching coach.
Your pitching coach
yeah.
for the off season.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that funky learning from a lefty?
It was funky throwing to him.
Okay.
I've never thrown to the left hand.
Because I'm just thinking, I've coached at the D3 level, and I try to coach lefty hitters, and I'm like, you got to do this. Well, okay, that's backwards. So let me try to mirror this the other way. So if he's going through you mechanically and he's showing you.
He was just really good at being able to, I guess, teach in a way that it would click. It would make sense.
Right.
Because you can have coaches out there that could tell you so many things, and you're just like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But he was like, "Oh man, just trust it. Just
connect to you."
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it was awesome. It was a good relationship to have, and still to this day, I still text him, and yeah. So
you did much better after the bullpen move, and were promoted to Double-A at that point.
Yeah, and that was a surprise.
Why is that?
That is 7 in high A, man.
Well, that was with a starter. When you read the website.
I don't even know what my numbers are as a reliever when I got bumped from a starter to a reliever in high A. I don't know what it was before I got called up to Portland. I think they were like maybe a change of scenery might help, which was amazing.
Yeah, because let's see. Yeah, because 2012 you started there, and then so 2012 after your promotion to Portland, you went 2-2 with a 2.93 ERA.
Okay.
So really, yeah, from like you said, over 7 to under 3.
Yeah.
Quality move there. Quality move, and that was the last year before. Ultimately, you got the best call of your life, or one of them, to that point, which was the Rule 5 draft of that offseason. And I want to wrap up this conversation with that. Then I got a few quick hitters from some friends I want to bounce off of you to get some feedback on. But take me through that offseason. Was there communication to you that this could be a potential in the Rule 5? Were you aware of what the Rule 5 is? Take me through those months.
Didn't have a clue, man. They told me I was going to the Arizona Fall League, and I was like, get to go make some money in the offseason.
Quality league.
Not go work. And if I do well, I'll get out.
Well, you're clearly on some top prospect lists at this point then if you're going to the Fall League. So you're on a radar.
I think, I don't know if I was a top prospect. I think I was more of like a guinea pig to see if this was going to work out. And I was like, you know what? If I go out there and I do well, put on the 40-man, get some money, But then, went out there, did my thing, and did really well. And I got the Rule 5, man. I didn't understand what that was or what.
And it's in the middle of the off season.
Yeah. And
so were you?
You
weren't having a draft party-esque for the Rule 5 draft?
It was like 8 in the morning. I was sleeping, and I got a phone call from my agent that said, you went 4th overall to the Twins. I'm like, what talking about?
No way.
He goes, the Rule 5. You know what? The Rule 5, you just went to the big league Rule 5. I was like, okay, but I don't know what that is. He goes, you're going to big league camp with the Twins, and if you have a chance to make the team out of camp.
That's amazing.
I was like the big league team. He goes, yeah. I was like, oh. And then he had to explain. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes into play where I can get sent back to the.
There's a lot of money, and they exchange hands for sure. I know the ins and outs. A lot of people don't. It's very tricky. But so you roll out of bed at 8:30 then after you get that call. What's the move then?
I think I got a phone call from Terry Ryan. He said, we welcome you to the Twins. Can't wait to have you in camp. We'll see you at Twins Fest. And I went up there for Twins Fest, met all the guys.
What about at your house, though? What's that moment like? Because like I said, you didn't have a party, so your mom and dad aren't hanging out waiting for the phone to ring. Or, like, do you run out of the room screaming like it's Christmas morning, man? Or
no, man. I still didn't really understand what was happening or what was going on.
Closing up here, like I said, texted some friends, said, hey, talking to press, let me know shit you want to know. Nothing's off limits.
Yeah.
Take me where it is. Nothing's crazy here, but there's some good questions that, I didn't even think of. Some are more ESPN-ish than other, and I'll start there the first time. But daily routine for you, hours like at the field, kind of a work day, because people watch from 7 to 10, but I don't think they kind of understand, the day-to-day hours as we're sitting here at 1:45 in the morning about to finally eat dinner when we wrap up here in a couple of minutes. But what's a day in the life like?
Well, let's see. Catherine.
Oh, now you want my input?
If you want to input on our daily activities before we go to the field, and usually we'll wake up, we'll go take the dogs to the park.
The dog park.
Go eat some lunch.
Coffee, dog park, lunch. Then I'll take him to the field, and then.
Yeah, she usually drops me off the field.
I don't know what he does the rest of the
that's
time.
cute. You drop him off.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks, Mom.
She'll drop me off. She tells me not to forget my lunch.
You be good today.
Yeah.
Did you do your homework?
Actually, I say, I'm like, go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
Well, what time do you guys have to be there?
So,
is there a set time? Like,
no, there's
early work?
There's not really a set time, but there's kind of like that unwritten rule of like.
It depends. If you're home, if you're home, you go kind of when you want. If we're on the.
It's not when you want. It's just it's a lot more lenient, but like guys get there well before game time, and it's
sure. But I'm saying there's no early work at 11:30.
No,
like summer leagues.
I say usually the last person rolls into the field around 3:00.
Yeah. You have to be there for
that's late.
Stretches or whatever at a certain time. There's like a time thing.
Yeah,
do you guys have daily meetings for like scouting reports and stuff that you go through?
Whenever a team's coming in, we'll have a meeting that day to kind of go over whatever we want to do. So usually I get there around 1:30, go get some lunch if I hadn't eaten anything or whatever, go get stretched, talk to the trainer, whatever I got to do, catch up with some of the guys on what they did last night after the game, kind of go about my day, stretch, roll out. And this is around, 3 or 4. And then we go out and play catch.
Do you long toss?
90 feet. You're not building.
So you don't extend it.
You're not building arm strength after April and May, man. Yeah, it's maintaining.
Because some people do, some don't. I feel like that's still.
You only got so many bullets in that arm. Kevin.
Yeah, hey, I was the same way, right? You can't use the bat so many times. There's only so many hits in it, so can't waste them all. But you mentioned lunch. Another question.
Yes.
City with the best and worst food spreads. Pre and post game.
That is a good question. The worst spread. Oh man. The worst is a team out in California.
That'll work.
I'll let y'all speculate on that one. Well, it's not a very big kitchen. The selection isn't very up. It's
not
subpar.
It's a
subpar selection.
Okay. Best spread then.
You gotta come to the Bronx, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean this. No, this is the show. Like this is the pinnacle of baseball. This is
the New York Yankees.
This is the Yankees. This is they treat you well, but I mean, when you think of Major League Baseball, the New York Yankees will be at the top of that list. And when you walk into the clubhouse.
That was the next question. So best and worst clubhouses. So as you're finishing this thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clean and well organized and it's very tightly ran. That's the best way I can explain it.
I was saying Miss Catherine was sitting with me at the game today and said there's a unique tidbit in the locker room that apparently only New York does.
Oh, yeah, they post the service time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they post the service time on how much accumulative days you have acquired in the big leagues, and boy, is there some shit talking whenever those numbers come.
Really?
Oh, yes.
So that's kind of like an internal.
Yeah. It's a lot of subtle jabs of, hey, I know that you're starting, but go get me a cup of coffee, Rook. And he might have like 2 less days of service time than me.
Oh, man.
It's
probably cool for some of the younger guys to see that.
Because it's a constant
it's cool for them to see for the older guys, like, hey, these are the guys I'm playing with.
Well, they don't have to look at service. All they have to do is just look around the clubhouse to see that.
Well, it is kind of like you were saying with the internal games. I was telling Miss Catherine as well. You had told me off the podcast that you and Gibby from Minnesota.
Yeah, there you go. It's a great example. It's
used to go back and forth.
It sets the record straight.
Because you would go down, he would go down, and y'all would kind of teeter back and forth on who had more days.
17 was a rough year, man.
Who had to carry the pink backpack out to the road games.
God, I remember when he got sent down and then he got called back up. I kind of just looked at him and I was like, hey, go make me a sandwich, man. and he kind of just looked at me and he started laughing. And 2 days later, I got sent down. And then
oh God!
And then I got called back up, and he kind of looked at me and goes,
"That's Kyle Gibson from the Twins, by the way."
Oh yeah, Gibby.
Catherine's our producer today, letting people know.
One of the greatest dudes in the league, man.
Yeah, he was a good dude. Even the one time we got breakfast near him, and was. Genuinely seemed like a good guy and open to chat. And
one of the best guys out there.
Very cool. And it's I've been happy to see his success this year too.
Yeah.
Out there and kind of followed him just because of those things and talking to him. And, he did have his trials too. So for him to figure it out kind of like you is fun to see at similar times. But last one, then we'll get you out of here, is favorites, or 2 actually. I'm looking here because I kind of like the last one. I was going to gloss over it. But favorite stadium to pitch in?
That's a great question. Well,
when do you go and you're like, this is a good time?
Well, there's different reasons why I like pitching in stadiums. Like tonight, I loved pitching in tonight's game because this is like a playoff atmosphere.
Sure.
But I don't like pitching in New York. No one likes pitching in New York. But as a competitor, I want to pitch here.
Sure.
But overall, I love pitching in Seattle. I love it.
Safeco looks beautiful, man. I would love
T-Mobile
to get
Park.
out there.
It's T-Mobile Park now.
Forgive me. I apologize. T-Mobile.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor the show, maybe I'll get that right. So.
And it's a beautiful stadium on top of that, and it's just. Oh, dude,
Can you notice the difference in mounds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they're all supposed to be clay and.
Each ground crew has their different. They got their own little thing.
Interesting.
It's weird. Fenway's got a little bit more of a red dirt kind of clay. It's still clay.
Right.
But it's like a red dirt over the clay.
Interesting.
Here in New York, it's like a granite kind of color clay or dirt, I guess.
Yeah.
Man,
And you
That's
can
kinda
feel
wacky.
the difference on your feet. Like you can feel the difference?
Yeah. So here it's really sticky here on the mound.
Okay.
Your cleats stick. The mound stays together pretty well. Texas is extremely hard. It's really hard because the sun, it dries it out. Yeah. Sometimes it'll rub blisters on your feet because like you can't kick the clay. You know where pitchers dig out next to the rubber, right?
Sure.
Well, the dirt is still raised up in front of your cleat. So when you push off the rubber and you drag your cleat, that dirt will hit the top of your foot. That's why you see guys that have pitcher's toe.
Heck yeah.
Well, guys who don't have pitcher's toe or drag their feet
so you don't really drag your foot though, do you?
No, but my drag mark is because I'm a push off guy.
Okay.
So mine is 3/4 of the way up to my foot. It's almost like right here, I guess.
On the inside of your almost ball of your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when I push off, like it'll rub on that, and sometimes I'll get a blister. So like whenever you pitch in, different mounds. It's weird.
So back to the Seattle thing. Why do you like pitching in Seattle?
It's a pitcher friendly park.
Wind's blowing in. It's huge.
Because it's so huge. So
it's huge.
So you just like pitching there because you feel safer?
Yeah. That and when I was with the Twins, it was really fun to watch Buxton run out in center field.
Run some of those balls down.
Because not only is Safeco,
there it is. I got you.
T-Mobile, but they have one of the best bullpen views, I think, in the league, where you can get the whole view of the entire field. You don't have a chain link fence in front of you.
So it's more fun for you to watch from out there.
You just jumped into another question, too, that was on there that we mentioned. Yeah, it was your favorite bullpen to hang out in. You like Safeco. You were mentioning reasons why. Are there other ones that you enjoy? Maybe the fans or, give you a good time or it's fun. And I know we've talked about how Boston, they're right on top of you. In New York, it seemed like they couldn't get very close to you at all. Do you like kind of being in Houston? Y'all are buried behind the fence.
Yeah,
What's the deal with that, man?
I like New York's bullpen. You can.
Do you like being closer to the fans or more isolated?
It doesn't really matter. Fans don't really bother me.
What's up with New York's bullpen? Where are you guys?
So there's a room behind the glass.
So you can just hang out in the room?
Yeah, it's for because like when up here in April and March or April,
it's freezing.
It's freezing up here.
It was tricky to see tonight because on the screen it said Ryan Presley warming up, and I was looking out there and I was like, "Is that him doing the arm circles?"
Well, also
I don't
the
see him out
Yankees side
there.
of the bullpen, none of them are there. It's
yeah, they all sit in the
no one's out there
in the room. But
what's the room?
It's just a long bench. It's got a TV in there that
so it's
you
basically like a bullpen.
Yeah.
Hidden.
Yeah, inside.
Yeah, it's a bullpen.
Like
it's a bullpen inside.
With like games and like another clubhouse.
No, they're not playing Fortnite in there.
Who knows? So. We don't know what's going on. Who knows?
Well, there's no cover, so if it starts to rain too, you don't want your bullpen guys down there just getting
wearing
soaked.
it.
Yeah, just getting
kind of
soaked
like Miss Catherine the other night out in the rain wearing it for that game. But sending you out on a high note, one hitter who you own. Like, I tend to get this guy out, and then the opposite side of that. Is there anybody out there that tends to give you trouble when he's coming up? And now I know you're a big league guy, and we can get anybody out at any time. But is there anybody top of mind that you can think of, man, this guy tends to get me?
Off the top of my head, you know what? I am going to have to say George. I'm going to have to say Springer.
Good. Now we got to get George on the podcast. So that's how we leverage into more guests here.
That is the one guy. Oh my God, man! Yeah, he sent us to AAA.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm sorry, I had an extra nerve there. I didn't realize.
I just remember. It was just funny because I remember him telling me after he hit it, he just remembers hearing Castro just saying, "Oh God." And I think I said the same thing after I heard it go off the bat because I didn't even look. And if I had my choice, I just walked off the field and packed my stuff and got to AAA myself. I probably would have gotten to Rochester before the ball landed too. So.
Oh goodness gracious!
So I want to just end on to add on to that.
Absolutely.
Please don't.
So we came to the Astros and we're just like, okay, here we go. We get to meet all these guys, that hit off.
Oh, they all love Ryan. They love this
Ryan
guy.
We just wanted to hate George, and we met George, and we were just like, I act like I was there.
Yeah.
He met George and was like, he was the nicest guy ever. He just wanted to hate him, but I couldn't do it.
I was like, God, man, you couldn't just get a infield hit. Like at that point, I think I gave up like 6 runs at that point.
I remember that one, man. That was a tough day, but you weren't the only one having a tough day that day either. So
yeah, I think that was a bloody massacre.
But yeah, so like I said, ending on a high note here.
Yeah.
Don't you love dealing with me? But no, man, thanks for putting up with me again. I appreciate it. Appreciate you getting us to the game tonight. Unfortunately, didn't go the Stros way, but that's why you play 162, my man.
Can't win the World Series in June.
That's it. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Coach, we were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bobble. Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we just be keeping the funk alive.